Yeah, okay. Right. There you go.
Thank you. Away you go.
Just want to congratulate you on your column, mate. I've seen that you wrote your last piece for the newspaper over there in New Zealand.
Yeah, it was. I've been doing this article for 30 odd years, never got paid. I've done it free for the love of rugby league. Yeah, interesting times, mate. Interesting times.
Yeah, I bet. What was your article usually about? Like, was it about the Warriors just in particular? Was it about rugby league in general, local games?
I had a free hand.
Yep.
And when it was when I was only writing for the Auckland papers, it was mainly about the Warriors and rugby league. But
Yep.
when my article got syndicated around the country, you know, if you look in the South Island, rugby's very dominant down there. So I had to mix it up a little bit. So in the end, it was about all sorts of sports, you know. And yeah, I had a free hand. It was great, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So how long have you been involved with the Warriors, mate?
Well, I wasn't that involved in the first year, but the second year I was very involved from then on. Yeah.
Yeah,
but
cool.
I've been involved in rugby league from grassroots to a club called Mangere East, where you may remember Olsen Filipano played here in Auckland.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I was the major sponsor of that club for many years. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
So grassroots. And of course, nice. I then went on to be the Kiwi manager. We beat Australia 24-0 in 2005 in England. Yeah. Yep. So nice. I've sort of done everything in rugby league, but play, I've never played it.
Oh, that's the way. It doesn't matter, mate. As long as you're involved somehow, mate. You know, it's a great game. Like that's the point of my page is to promote the game here in Perth.
Yep.
I go to local games, seniors and juniors. My sons play juniors. I take photos, videos. I mean, my page has only been going for about 6 months now. So I started halfway through the season. But next year it's going to be a bit more involved. I'm going to be doing some more reports and stuff like that.
Yep.
But I also share news from the NRL. So whatever pages I follow and stuff like that, I share around. So people are up to date with the NRL news plus the local games that are going on. You know, not really an objective, but the main goal is to sort of show that people love rugby league here in Perth, and that, you know, with this 18th team, you know, coming up in the next few years, Perth should deserves a crack at having it at the 18th team. So,
yeah, that's a fair comment. But hey, can I put a challenge out to all the Kiwis in Perth? Get behind the Vodafone Warriors. Come on, you Kiwis.
Yeah,
our
absolutely,
team, our country, our team. You know.
Yep.
Yep.
Absolutely, mate. You know, they I lived in New Zealand for for 3 years, and when I moved back to Perth, speaking to a lot of Kiwis and stuff that are over here, you know, the main problem they found with the Warriors is just their inconsistency, and that's why a lot of them, I guess, don't support them. But, you know, I think with the right culture and stuff in that club, you know, it's a shame that Gus Gould couldn't do more, you know, because of the coronavirus. I think if he had more involvement with them, I think that club would have skyrocketed up a lot quicker.
Look, I don't think you need a Gus Gould to fix a problem. It's something internal we've got to look at. And I'm disappointed you brought it up, to be fair, because it's a pain in my backside. But 100% right. You know, we lack consistency. You know, we've got the players. You know, you look at that boy that went to Parramatta last year.
Isaiah Papali'i.
Yep, I'm not good with the names. Yeah, that's why I let you say it. Mate, one of the stars of the team this year. One of the stars. Why didn't we bring that out? Why did we let him go? There's a lot of questions to be answered. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Look, if you're a diehard fan like me, you follow your team through thick and thin. And I learned my first tour to England. I took a tour party over to England to follow the Kiwis.
Yep.
And I realised how staunch they were over there with their teams. They, you know,
Yep.
they leave Kiwis and Aussies for dead, in my humble opinion. They are just rude, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I remember on one tour, we went to we were staying in Leeds, and we went down to a pub called the Skyrack Hotel. And I met two ladies, two sisters. And mate, all they wanted to do was talk about rugby league.
Yeah, nice.
And, you know, and they've since become close friends. They've been out to New Zealand, met my wife, and you know, all that sort of thing. But they just, I don't know if it's fanatical or they don't have anything else better to do. I don't know the answers, but they are great supporters. And I had a lot to do with Leeds when I was there. And I made some great friends, you know. You might be too young to remember Alex Murphy, Gary Schofield. You know, they were players in their day. And I ring them regularly, to be fair. In actual fact, Gary Schofield just had an eye out recently.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's cool. It's like Leeds. I know the rugby league, you know, isn't as popular over in England as it is Australia, for example, because you know a lot of them are diehard soccer fans, football fans as they call it. You know, but it's still a very popular game. They still get decent crowds to the games. You know, and even in Australia, you know, rugby league is a big sport, but it's still not the most popular sport in Australia. Obviously, it's the same with New Zealand. New Zealand cares more about rugby union than they do rugby league, but you tend to find people follow one, they follow the other.
Yeah. Look, what's happened in New Zealand, if you go back when I first got involved in rugby league, I'd go to a butcher's conference and no one would want to talk to me because I was that guy following rugby league. But that's all. There's a lot of reaction. Like, for example, I was texting Bowden Barrett this morning. You know, I got a lot of mates in the present All Black team. You know, so there's a lot of barriers. But you are right. League is very strong in the northern part of England. You know, around Huddersfield. You know, and Leeds and that. You know, but right, there's no question. The Vodafone Warriors brought league to the forefront in New Zealand. You know,
absolutely, no
question. To be fair, at first, to the detriment of local league, because the local league never got any. Well, I'll give an example. People started to say to me, "Butch, why aren't you writing about the local league anymore?" And I had to, I just had to say to them because people want to hear about the Warriors. That's what they want to read. You know, and you know, I love local rugby league, but I stopped going. Didn't have time. You know, I would be at the Warriors, you know, 3 hours before the game to set up my lounge to get things ready, and then I'd still be there a couple or 3 hours after the game. So you know,
absolutely.
You know, I'm a married man, so I couldn't spend all my time on league, and it wasn't. It was my passion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So interesting.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're right. Sure.
I was just going to say, you know, being involved with the Warriors, who's been the best sort of person that character that you've been around with the Warriors?
Oh, mate, I can't answer that question because so many of them are close. For example, Jason Deeth lived with me.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, right.
And stayed with me for a couple of 3 or 4 months. And every time we had tea, when the dishes were ready to go, Kevin got a phone call. Funny that, isn't it?
It's always the way, isn't it?
No, I'm still in touch with a lot of players that played at the club. Stacey Jones was, you know, I went to watch him play his first game for the Catalan Dragons. You know.
Yeah, right,
Yeah, but I mean, so many of them, you know, friends. What disappoints me now, half the team I don't even know. I've never met them. You know.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Very strange. You know, I still keep in touch with the ones I do know. I just got off the Instagram with Jazz Tavaga, you know.
Oh,
Get to him on that. He's a great guy. But no, we've had some wonderful players, all different in their own way, you know. So it would be it would be hard for me to name one particular player, you know.
Yeah, fair call, mate. Fair call. How did you personally respond to the incident in the off season with little young Reece Walsh?
Well, I was very disappointed.
Yep.
I don't know. He's a young kid, and he would have been influenced by other people. You know, you see, if you take me, for those people that are listening that don't know who I am, there was a time when I was very, very well known in New Zealand, very well, right throughout New Zealand. But I was lucky. I had a little bit of a mentor that kept my feet on the ground and stopped me from getting my head up my ass, to be fair.
Yeah.
And poor, you know, he became a rock star overnight, virtually. You know, he's such a good player. And Wallace got a bit carried away, and he partied with these guys and just got a bit carried away. I personally haven't met him, but from what I'm told, I'm still in contact within the camp, to the managers and that. They all tell me he's a good young man. You know, put your hand up if you've never made a mistake in your life. Well, my hand's not going up. I make them every day.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. You know, and I was disappointed myself. You know, being a father myself and seeing that he's a young father. I mean, I was a young father as well. I had my first child at 20. And to see him get into trouble with that, you know, being a young father, I was like, mate, you know, what are you doing? Like, to myself, I was like, it's just, you got to think more, not about yourself anymore. You got to think about your kids. You know, I get that you're a rugby league player and it's all this sort of stuff is readily available, but mate, you know, you've got a family to look out for.
Yeah, no, and look, it's over and done with now. He's been fined. He's been to court. Put it to bed. You can't change the past, but you can
absolutely
improve the future. And hopefully he's learned. Look, everyone I've spoken to within the camp tell me he's a nice young guy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And he comes across that way in interviews and stuff like that. I mean, me personally, I've haven't had any contact with any of the Warriors players or anything like that. I wish I could get into those sort of players at the moment, have some interviews and stuff, which, you know, hopefully doing this page will get me into it a bit later. But you know, he comes across as a really nice, humble sort of young bloke. And you know, that, like I said, that was the main thing that disappointed me, was just being a young father. You know, it's like, mate, come on. But you know, I give him absolute raps in. He came out straight away, said, put his hand up, admitted to his mistakes. Yep, I'm going to work on it. I'm going to go do the, you know, whatever punishment comes my way, I'm going to take it on the chin, and, you know, we'll move forward from there. And, you know, that for me, especially for a young kid, is a big thing.
That's a very good point you made up, and something I should have brought up, to be fair, because he went to the club and told them before it was out in the public arena. He went and told them, he said, I want to get cleared up now. I want to, you know, let's get it out in the open now. And that, mate, that takes courage. And it was a good thing to do. But look, we haven't had many. I don't think we've had any rat bags to play for the club, to be fair. Most of them have been good in their own way, and they're all different, you know. I've certainly enjoyed my involvement with the club. And for those people that don't know, I run a lounge at the club. I retired just before lockdown, funny enough. And it was a non-PC lounge, you know, because I swear a bit. You haven't swore once today on your show.
That's all right, mate. That's all right.
But we had a lot of fun. We'd get players up after the game. We'd get visiting teams after the game, you know, because over the years, I've built a rapport with a lot of people in league, you know, like the manager of the Melbourne Storm's a very good friend of mine, you know, and I used to love getting Des Hasler in there because he was a lot of fun. I love Des Hasler. Nice. Great guy. But no, I met some great people. Look, I'm very blessed to have had an involvement with the rugby league. I'm stepping back now, because I'm 77 and my memory's going a little bit, and it's been a great ride, absolutely fantastic.
I bet, mate. You know, it's one of your close mates. I've seen you know, retired over the weekend, over the end of the season too. Benji Marshall,
Benji.
mate, what an absolute legend that guy was. You know, he changed the game of rugby league in the sense of he got a lot more. One, he got a lot more New Zealanders wanting to play, and he changed the game in getting kids wanting to play. You know, with his fancy footwork, his fancy passing. You know, and you look at guys like Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. You know, they probably wouldn't have thought about doing that stuff as much. You know, if it wasn't for Benji.
You go back to Benji. What a lot of people forget, Benji's not just a great rugby league player. He's an entertainer.
Yeah.
And I don't mean he's got his head up his backside or that, or he's a show-off. No, Bezzy entertains. He's very good. In my man cave in where we are now on Waikiki Island, I have a photo signed to Sir Peter, you're a legend, Benji.
Yeah.
And it went with the article last week that I done, because that gave my article a bit of credibility, because it's easy to say someone's a mate of yours. You know, it's easy. Yeah. But when you show a photo where he signed it to you, and that makes it look, as a person, lovely guy. Never hesitated to do anything for. When I was the manager of the Kiwis, I got him to come to see a particular kid that was a big fan of his, you know.
Yep.
And there's a little kid on the island just down the road from me here. His name's Benji, and he loves him.
Yeah.
And I tell him a few little white lies. I tell him I told Benji about you. And Benji wants to make it a meet you, and he thinks that's fantastic. No,
that's the way.
It's been met some wonderful players, and he's special, but they're all special. They're all in their own way. And they've always shown me a lot of respect, which is nice, you know.
Yeah.
You've got to earn respect. You can't go and buy it, you know.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Yeah. You know, and I mean, I've noticed that because I've followed your page for a while now, and you know, I've seen you know, not just Kiwi players, but you know, anyone that's gone over to New Zealand to see play the Warriors or whatever, they've got time for you. You know, like I said, I've been following your page for a few years now, and you know, you've always having a chat with ex-players or current players, and you know, they've always got time of day for you. You know?
Unfortunately, I can't do that. Can you see me? Can you see me?
No, not at the moment, mate.
No, that's okay, because I'm going to show you a couple of things, but that's okay. No, I haven't. For those people that want to follow me, my Facebook page is Sir Peter Leitch, or Sir Peter Charles Leitch, one of the two, and on this, Sir Mad Butcher. But no, look, it's been a journey. It's been a wonderful journey. I've enjoyed every moment of it, and I just hope the people of Perth get behind, particularly the Kiwis, get behind the Warriors, because they are your team. And, you know, they can be your second team. I don't mind that, as long as we get behind them. I like a lot of teams in Aussie. You know, I'll follow the new team because Wayne Bennett's a good mate of mine.
Yeah.
You know,
so I'm a Broncos man, through and through, and I've been that way since I was a little kid.
And the jersey, mate, I picked you're a Broncos fan.
You're
the Mad Butcher, but that's silly. Yeah.
You know, and that's like, that was another thing why I love Benji, when he came there as well. Wayne Bennett was smart in the sense of getting there to develop players, but you know, I've always had a soft spot for the Warriors, you know, because they came in '95 and I was only what was I? I was about 7 years old at the time when they came through. You know, so they're always fresh in my memory. You know, and they had some great players come through there, Australian players, Kiwi players, you know, the Islanders. You know, they've always had an impact, and there's just something has never, I guess, clicked for them to win that premiership. You know, and I'm hoping with Nathan Brown at the helm, he can guide these young players, and they've got some senior guys there. Hopefully, he can guide them through to, you know, where they should be, because they got, mate, the squad that they got is just unbelievable. I think one of the detriments I think at the moment for them is no home ground advantage. You know, not being in at Mount Smart Stadium.
Yeah.
But you know, it's unfortunately that's just the way this stupid virus has done things to us. But you know, hopefully in the next year or two, the NRL can get back there and start playing games again.
And the other thing is, we've lost about 10 players this year for what different reasons. Maybe they wanted to leave. Some of the club are let leave. But look, we got to roll with the punches we're thrown. You know.
Yep.
And as you said, COVID's buggered everything up, and we just got to go with the flow.
Yeah.
You know, and everyone's hurting. But mate, I've got to go. I've got to go for a 20-mile run now.
No worries, mate. I really
Good
appreciate your time.
Hey,
Really
keep rocking.
time, mate. Thanks, mate.
Thank you, mate. Good night.
See you, buddy.
Bye. Ta-da. Ta-da.